our mandate now is to continue to serve our customers excellently and to provide them with the banking solutions that are needed so that our clients can succeed. And also, we do have a mandate to participate in the economic development of our nation. And so that is of primary focus for us as well. So really, our entire purpose is to ensure that individuals, not only our clients, but individuals around Dominica, families, communities, and businesses that support the economic development of Dominica can succeed.
Okay. Let us go to the other lady in the house representing the Republic Bank.
Good morning. My name is Emerald Martin. I'm a relationship officer. What that technically means is that I basically serve clients in terms of maintaining a relationship with our customers.
So you are a relationship officer.
I am.
Wow, interesting.
I always get that, wow, are you a relationship officer? Yes. What it essentially means is that each officer, each customer has a designated person who takes care of their financial needs. Too many times customers enter an institution and yes, they are greeted. They bring over their business, but then what happens after? So at Republic, we have designated officers per customers. So when you come into me, it means that you deal with me throughout your time at the institution. You will have already discussed everything with me. So if you call and say, you know what, I need this and that, I would have already known your information, your history. It's like going to a doctor who knows your history. At Republic Bank, we give customers that type of service where you have one person who will focus on you as a customer. So you feel at home, you feel like you're part of the family. And Republic is new to Dominica, yes, but Republic is not new to banking. Republic is 185 years strong and going. We're continuing to grow as a bank. We originated in Trinidad and Tobago, and right now Republic basically branched out into the Caribbean. So we're in Antigua, we're in St. Lucia, Anguilla, St. Kitts, Dominica, sorry, not Antigua, sorry. So we have actually stepped into the Caribbean, and we are basically here to stay and serve our customers.
Okay, so I welcome you to the program as well. Mr. Stephen Lander, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing all right. What about you? I've been here very early, but it's
Yes.
nice to have you on. 2 ladies, 3 ladies in fact, and you're the only gentleman.
Yeah, I'm always blessed
All
to
right.
be graced by the presence of ladies, especially my colleagues. So good morning to everybody. Stephen Lander, Head of Country for CIBC First Caribbean Dominica. An entity much like NBD and Republic with a storied history, not just in Dominica, but across the Caribbean. And we're happy to be here to contribute on the topic this morning, which, help people better navigate uncertain times and unexpected changes and how that impacts their finances.
So that's essentially what Plan to Unplan is saying.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to get to that a little later in the program, but let us just look at some other things even before we get to that point, because the ECCU, the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, is spearheading this initiative, which is coordinated, of course, by the ECCB. So where do the banks fit in this agenda in a Dominica context? What does Financial Information Month mean to the banks? I'm not sure we want to take this one first, but I would like to hear from all the banking institutions on this in terms of Financial Information Month and that relation, of course, with the banks, local banks in Dominica.
Okay, I mean, I can go first.
As Emerald, and it's not Amarel, right? It's Emerald. So I have to make sure I get this correctly.
It's Amarel.
Amarel.
Yes.
Okay.
But people say Emerald as well.
Either
one.
I heard you say Emerald earlier, and I was like, okay.
Emerald, Amarel, whichever one.
All right. Ivonia is okay. Let's go. Mm-hmm.
Right. So basically, customers, what I've noticed is that, customers, they are not always versed in what we as a bank, as in what we may know. For example, they know they want a loan, they know they need money, so they expect us to basically fulfill that need. But it's in terms of the Financial Information Month, I think it's just an opportunity to educate the public as to what they need. For example, the young persons, a lot of people want to build, a lot of people want to become homeowners eventually one day, because hey, that's why we actually are employed, to become homeowners. But most times people are not aware as to what they need to put in place to basically get to that point. So you may find people, laying in bed and waking up and say, you know what, I need to own my home because I'm fed up of renting. So that's where we come in terms of educating the public as to what you need to put in place so that you can get to your goal and have a timeline, put things in place.
Okay, Susan Piper, let us look at the NBD. You have been around for a number of years, so you would have gone through a lot of financial information months. This thing started in 2002. Tell us about this collaborative efforts with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCU as well.
Yes, we are happy to partner with the ECCB once again this month on Financial Information Month. As you rightly said, we've participated in a large number of these initiatives every year. And it's always good as well to, in October, even if it's once a year, to partner with the other banks on island. But what we all recognize is that as bankers, is that banking can be complex, particularly for customers, for our clients. And as I indicated a little earlier, if our purpose, if our mission is to assist our clients to succeed, that means we have to help them to make the best decisions possible for them. So a client may come in, they want to build a house or they want a loan for something else, but may not have necessarily thought everything through based on their circumstances, based on their income, based on the debt that they already have. And so it is the bank's duty to put all of that into perspective for the client so that the client can make the best possible decision. And it may be that the client walks out of the bank changing their minds about what they originally came in for. So that is our role here. We have a huge role in educating our clients so that they can avoid the pits that can happen if we don't make right financial decisions. And as bankers, we see it when our clients come to us. Sometimes they come to us at a point where they've already made certain decisions that may not have been the best decisions for them, and it's up to us also to educate them so we can help them to climb out of those situations. So all around, education plays a huge role in what we do for clients. Banking is complex. It's not as simple as having one savings account and one loan account, and there are a multitude of products and solutions that can achieve the same thing that you're trying to achieve, and in multiple ways that it can happen. So we have to ensure that we provide that information to clients on a continuous basis so that they can make the right financial decisions.
It's interesting that you mentioned earlier the pits that can happen. So you're talking about risks and challenges and things like that. And that is what I really want to focus on sometime later and give people an understanding as to what they can do in terms of navigating, and moving forward. But we'll look at that. I want to hear from the CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank, on that very question I asked the other bank representatives, Mr. Lander, in terms of that collaborative effort. What does this mean for the FCIB? Of course, in the Dominica context, Financial Information Month, coordinated, of course, by the ECCB.
If we kind of think of it from the standpoint of what and why, right? I think there's an overarching agenda of wealth creation for our citizens in the ECCU. Certainly the Governor, Mr. Antoine, has articulated that a number of times in the public domain, and I would encourage persons to go and read up about some of the tools that the ECCB is trying to introduce and educate people about because the financial management and wealth management is more than just banking. So what we want to do, I think there is a desire certainly amongst our population to create wealth, but the how element is missing, and I think that is what Financial Information Month and some of the other initiatives by ECCB is trying to address. How do we teach people how to do it, how to get there? As the banks on the ground, I think we've built up a lot of trust with our client base. I think they listen to us, they believe in the advice that we give, and so that is why we're such a natural partner for the ECCB on the ground, to communicate those concepts and share the information hand in hand with them through initiatives like this.
Very interesting. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, let me welcome you. This is a special program on Financial Information Month, organized by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB. It's FIM this October, FIM Financial Information Month. There's a theme, we want to look at that as well. But we have three representatives of three banks on island. We have Mr. Stephen Lander, who is the country head of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. We also have Susan Piper, the executive manager, marketing NBD. That's correct, right, Susan Piper?
Correct.
Right, National Bank of Dominica. And we have Amorel Martin, who is the relationship officer, and I have to stretch on that because I really like this in terms of moving forward when you consider what a relationship officer does. So she's representing the Republic Bank as well, Republic Bank of Dominica. They're the newest banking institution on island, especially among the three, right? But in general, you are the newest. Okay, so we have them as our guests this morning, and there's a simulcast you could call it, with Kyrie FM, and we're bringing this live on radio and on social media as well. Now, the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union spearheads this initiative, as we mentioned, which is coordinated by the ECCB, and we look at where does the banks fit in all of this. But I want to ask, though, because we have been dealt a major blow by COVID-19, and there are other challenges, of course, that confront us as small island developing states. We talk about risks and some of the challenges when Susan Piper spoke. So we feel the effects of global challenges. Also, banking has changed drastically over the years. It's no longer simple money, lending and deposits, right? A lot has changed. So my question is, how are the banks continuing to say, build financial resilience in this challenging environment? And how resilient really is the banking sector? I'm not sure we want to take a first at this. Of course, as I said, we want to look at plan to unplan later on. But I want to put this in context in terms of how resilient the banking sector is, even amidst these challenges.
Yeah, I can offer some comments on that. I think it's interesting. The topic for today, plan to unplan, we're given that advice, but I think a first step is for us to take that advice ourselves. And what we've recognized as institutions in the industry, I think, is we ultimately have to be flexible to the changes in the market and how that impacts the needs of our clients. So at First Caribbean, we tout the fact that we put the client at the center of all that we do. And I think that is a grounding concept for how we approach flexibility to meet the needs of the clients as the environment changes around them. And there are so many things that, are unexpected but impactful, in the economies that we operate in today. That is ultimately what we have to do. We have to be flexible, right? And I think that is what we showed as institutions, as financial institutions during COVID, as you put it. We had to kind of drop some of the traditional concept that we operate by and be ultimately flexible and change how we operate to suit the needs of the clients at the time. So I think a key consideration for us is ultimately flexibility. Okay.
Susan Piper, you may want to share with us as well, how is the NBD continuing to build this financial resilience that we speak about?
Well, continuing on what Stephen just said, banking is not a one-size-fits-all proposition, and here comes in the client relationship manager, because really that's how now that us as banks have to deal with our clients on a one-on-one basis. So that we can assess the needs of every one of our clients and be able to match that need. And that's where the flexibility comes in. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution anymore. And every client is impacted differently by the events that happen to us. Every client has different needs. So the banks now, we have to put the structures in place to be able to support our clients in that way. And so, as you rightly mentioned, banking is no longer just a savings account and a loan account. It's much more than that. It has extended, even in the digital realm. So all of these changes in the banking sector, in the financial services sector, so to speak, is geared at helping clients to navigate through the ups and downs of economies, of different markets, of events, which surely will continue coming our way.
But surely there are, I would say, challenges impeding that very thing that you spoke about. Are there? Have you seen challenges in recent times that would sort of hinder the progress that the banks would have, wanted to make from the get-go as part of your agenda? Over the years, a lot has changed. A lot is changing. There are challenges that continue to confront us. But how challenging is it for the bank in terms of going forward with your mandate in pleasing customers and giving that service that customers so need?
Well, the key thing is our ability to be agile, right? We move forward with the concept that even if we have a set strategy, that the industry is changing pretty quickly. The demands of the customers are changing pretty quickly. And so what we strive to put in place is an organization that can move in the direction of the industry and of the customer, because change is always going to be constant. And in recent times, that's exactly how it has been. The needs of the customers have changed very drastically. We have the element of the digital space right now. It's creating some disruption in the financial services industry, or the traditional financial services industry. We have regulation as well coming to the financial institutions because of events that happen in our economies and in the industry. So the key is to build an institution that is agile, that is able to move and react or to these different changes. And in that way, we have to be proactive, not just react, but be proactive in terms of looking forward into what is coming our way. We have to project beyond our market to the wider industry, so that we are able to react or respond, to our local market or regional market and to our clients once it gets to us.
Okay, so yes, you are resilient, but you also have to be agile and proactive. So I get this. What about the Republic Bank, in line with what I asked about the resilience of the financial sector?
Well, I believe that basically nobody prepared for COVID. The government, the financial institutions, even the customers themselves. So there was a great impact. For most people, it would have been negative, in the sense that most people lost their jobs. There are some businesses that basically never revived from COVID. Businesses were shut down, as we saw. So I think what it made us strategize as a bank and better understand what position are we putting the customers in financially. So in the past, customers would have come in and requested a loan, and would review the information and say, okay, you can qualify for this, and yes, I may give you $1 million, I may give you $2 million. But right now, with COVID, we have seen that many industries we would have thought that would not have been impacted. Maybe industries that were strong, maybe employers who were strong in the past, we saw that they were dissolved. So it basically made us strategize and land in a way that we consider the customers and what may happen in the future, as in, okay, yes, you may come in with a request, but is this request the correct need for you at this time? Is that what you really need? Yes, you have one vehicle, you may need another one. Is it right for you right now based on your income, based on your family's disposable income? So I think we sit and we discuss with the customers, as in, okay, it's just not you, it's just not me as a bank wanting to get profits out of you. It's me as a bank understanding that you can go through hardships, and then when you go through these hardships, what am I going to do for you as a bank? Am I going to put you in a situation where you may risk losing everything? Or am I going to put you in a position where, yes, when the hardship comes, then you're still able to cushion it? Mm-hmm. So I think it has helped us, the COVID-19 situation has helped us to basically tailor solutions to customers that will help them, as opposed to put them in a worse off situation.
Okay. You are listening to a program organized by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank as part of Financial Information Month. This program is on DBS Radio and on Kyrie FM, and we have it on social media as well. We have 3 guests in studio. We have Mr. Stephen Lander of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. He's the country head. We also have Susan Piper, who is the executive manager for marketing at the National Bank of Dominica, and Amaral Martin, the relationship officer at the Republic Bank. Now, Republic Bank is the most recent institution to set up shop here, so we mentioned that. And you continue to expand your family throughout the Caribbean, and you would have mentioned that, Amaral, very early in your preamble. First Caribbean International Bank recently, though, announced closure of its business here, and that will take effect on the 31st of January 2023, very soon. Let us stay on this for a while and take us through the process involved. Mr. Lander, you'd have to come in here. Take us through the process involved when a situation like this occurs. What should the customers know and things like that?
All right. I want to start with just an acknowledgement that I understand that this is tough, maybe unwelcome news for a lot of persons in the market. But we've tried to communicate publicly what the process would be like from the customer perspective and give as much advice as we can in terms of what persons should anticipate between now and January 31st, which is the ultimate closure date. And what we've tried to do, for example, is a phased wind down of various services so that we're not, pulling the proverbial carpet from under the legs of our customers. We're giving them a chance to, we're giving them several months' notice, first of all, so they can set up new accounts if they need to, or move their primary business accounts and personal accounts to other institutions as needed. And also giving them a chance to continue to use our services through this gradual wind down toward the date. Now, an important part of that is us actually partnering with our sister institutions on island to ensure that we accommodate the sort of rush for services that will happen as a result of this announcement. So we've been having active conversation through the Bankers Association with the other institutions like Republic, like NBD, and even some of the credit unions to collaborate and see how best we can accommodate customers. I think NBD, for example, has done a brilliant job. They've extended hours to 7 p.m. on a daily basis, and actually offer opening hours on Saturday mornings 9 to 12, I believe.
9 to 1.
9 to 1, right? So that they can accommodate the request for new business, right? And it's another good example of how through collaboration, we can ensure that the market is being served. And I think ultimately that is the objective, right? And we all understand that, and we'll work together to ensure that persons are not unfairly disadvantaged by the departure of First Caribbean from the market.
All right. So you said that you have to give people adequate time. And so normally that is adequate time in terms of the announcement to the day that the bank will cease operations here.
Normally, 90 days would be considered adequate, and we're above that by another month or so. So we give an additional 30 days notice on top of the 90. So 120 days, and that should be ample time for persons to rearrange their affairs. Obviously, we have persons that are in unique and peculiar situations. If you live abroad, for example, right? How do you manage from abroad? So we have an officer who is dedicated just to look at that client group and reaching out to persons overseas and giving them the special instructions that they need to follow to ensure that they can wind up their business with us. It's not just about accounts. You have safety deposit boxes, you have safekeeping items, you have a range of things. Sometimes people had loans in the past, they've pledged collateral, they've paid off those loans, but that collateral remains in our custody, right? So they need to collect those documentations.
This is a massive undertaking between the bank and the customer.
It's a lot of moving parts, and so that's why we're trying to do multi-channel communication. So we're not only going direct to customer with mail, email, whatever form of contact that we have for them on file, but we're also doing a lot of public announcements. We've done print media, we've done social media, we've done radio, right? And the classic word of mouth, right? We try to, everybody that we talk to, do you know someone else who may have business with us? Are they aware? Do you have a family member or a friend who might need to know what's going on, right? Every interaction that we have at the counter, when persons come in to do transactions, we're trying to generate that conversation. So
because you may have information from a customer, but that customer updated probably his telephone or address and did not even inform the bank.
Exactly. And that happens more often than most persons would appreciate. Change of address, change of contact information. And that's why it's so important for us to put that information out there publicly, and hopefully someone sees it if we don't have their direct contact information.
And by the way, you could call at some point in the program when it's 1-327-448-3284. You could also send us a WhatsApp message on 6161327. And if you are calling from overseas, the number is 305-432-9744. Okay? So you could call and contribute, give your contribution, your suggestion, a question, whatever you have. We will welcome your contribution this morning. As I said, the program is also on Kyrie FM, and we're doing this on radio and on social media. Sister institution, National Bank of Dominica, that's how Mr. Stephen Lander referred to the NBD. Susan Piper, help us understand exactly what is in place from the NBC's standpoint. I know he mentioned that you have extended hours and there's a Saturday business that people can benefit from. But tell us exactly what the NBD realized that it had to do from the time this announcement was made by the CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank.
Thank you, everyone. It has been, as Stephen said, a collaborative effort with all banks putting the client first. So basically the focus has been on the client and how to make this transition as seamless as possible for the clients. And so from the NBD perspective, the first thing is we've put our best people forward to handle the switch over to NBD. And we've had to put a number of methods in place so that it would be easy for clients wanting to switch to NBD to contact us or to have a consultation with us. So first off, we recognize that for the clients to come during our normal operating hours may have been inconvenient, because typically at the National Bank we have lines of our existing clients visiting the branch, and so we recognize that it would not have been the most convenient thing for the clients wanting to switch over. So we extended our hours for specifically for those clients. So as Stephen mentioned, we're open from on Monday through Thursday from 3 p.m. after we've closed normal operating hours at the branch, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and we are also available on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hillsborough Street branch. So the extended hours are at our Hillsborough Street branch. We've also put in place a number of other things. So for example, we have a special hotline. So the number for that is 767-255-2600. And that telephone number serves only the clients who want to switch over, or just even if you just have an inquiry about switching over to NBD. We've also set up a special email address, which is switcheasy at nbd.dm. So these clients can, send us an email on anything that they would like to, whether they have question or concern, or they would like to set up an appointment for consultation. We've also set up a specific website which provides all of this information that I'm giving here right now. So the special web page is on our website. Once you go to our homepage, you will see an advert for it. Once you click on it, it will take you to the web page and it provides all of this information. It also has on that web page the ability for clients to make an appointment to see us, whether it's within the special hours or outside of those special hours. And for customers who have already decided that they're going to switch to NBD, they can begin the application online from that webpage. So all of this has been set up for the clients for the convenience of the clients, so that we can have sort of a seamless transition. On our webpage, we do have a switch kit, which will give clients tips and also provide certain forms that they are free to use to deal with the switch over of accounts. So when you switch over an account, it's not just about closing an account at FCIB and opening a new account at NBD, but you may have had standard orders directed to that account. You may have had direct deposits. Your salary may be going to that account. You need to switch those things before you can close your account at FCIB and start using NBD's new account. So we do have a switch kit which provides the forms that will enable you to transfer those various services as well, and it provides you with financial with tips on how to go about closing your FCIB account and switching to NBD's account. So that website, that webpage is at nbdominica.com/switch, or you can go directly to our homepage, and right there will be an opportunity for you to click and go directly to the webpage. We have looked at our processes as well. And so from a process standpoint, there are certain exceptions that we will be making for the FCIB clients coming across, not only our processes, but also some of our requirements. They are with an established bank, so we're taking that into consideration, and we are making certain exceptions. So for the FCIB clients, if you have a question about anything that I've said here, or if you would like a consultation, then you can simply call us at the hotline number 255-2600. You can email us at switcheasy@nbd.dm. You can visit our webpage, which will give you all of this information. And even if you don't want to schedule an appointment right now, and you just want to send us a note, there's a contact form on there. Also, for the overseas clients, all of these avenues can be used for the overseas clients. You can call us at the number, you can email us, you can schedule an appointment. so that you can have a consultation with us, or you can simply send us a message via our contact page, our contact form, and certainly the team that we have put together will respond to you in a timely manner. We do have special offers that we have put together as well for the FCIB clients, taking into consideration what their current offerings are at FCIB. We've looked at our deposit accounts. We've looked at our mortgage and retail loan offers. And we will be providing certain incentives. For example, our negotiation fees, we will waive that, and certain other incentives. So we're taking all of that into consideration. For credit card customers, they do have credit card customers as well. We're arranging for them to transfer their balance, again, in an easy and seamless way, and providing some incentives where that is concerned as well. So I encourage clients to contact us and find out what the benefits are that we've put together specifically for you to move seamlessly to NBD.
Stephen Lander, before I come to you and to find out, Amaral Martin, what your bank is doing, let me just ask Stephen Lander. There's a tendency by many to act late. So sometimes people wait last minute to do things, they procrastinate. What could happen to people like that who are too late?
Well, we're hoping
or is there too late in a situation like this?
Yes and no. What I'm telling people is, even if the closure date is a few months out, it's better to act now. Okay, so the quicker that you can get your affairs in order, the better off you will be. And as a bank, we have no incentive to hold on to the business last minute either, right? What we want to do is get everyone into a position where they're settled, and all of their affairs are in order prior to our closure on January 31st. So that's why it's important to have the conversation, because a lot of times people ask me this question up front. The first thing that they say, "You're closing?" They say, "Yes." Well, how much time do I have? How long can I keep the account? And I say, well, we took the approach of phasing out services to make it convenient for persons, but also to give persons some incentive to act. Because depending on how you use your account, if a certain service is not available, then it becomes quite inconvenient to keep the account. You actually need to set up elsewhere. So I tell persons there are a number of things to take into consideration, and primarily I think is how you actually use your account, what you use it for. Sometimes persons have accounts, for example, just to pay loans. Other times they use it to receive their salary. We have persons receiving social security payments, that sort of thing, right? And if you're doing those things, or if you're using their account primarily to manage most of your transactions, it makes sense to move it immediately. And, I love what Suzanne just shared. All of this information is really good examples of how they are responding to a need in the market. We talked about being agile and flexible earlier. So I was quite impressed, when we had the conversation as an association, and everybody was so eager to make this easy and seamless for people to switch. I think it's a very good example of how, we are being flexible and putting the clients at the center of what we do.
Susan Piper, you may have to make arrangements for a separate radio program to continue that discussion, continue informing people.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can discuss this after. But let me find out.
Actually, that is in the pipeline. We've already contacted the station
radio
about this.
Yes. But let me find out from Amaral Martin from the Republic Bank. Help us understand what your bank is doing to make this transition as seamless as possible for customers of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank. What is in place at your bank?
Okay, so we've recognized the need, as in the need to move to another bank. As Stephen said, there's a timeline, and while Stephen may say that it's a yes and no question, ultimately there are customers who may be stranded simply because they're dragging their feet, as we basically see in our local terms. So we've recognized that some people may drag their feet and they may wait till the latter end. So, for example, for the business customers, there is a need for machines, as in your point of sale machines, because we all know that we have cards. The clients have cards, and I think that's the primary mode of payment right now. People use checks, yes, but most people may pull out their cards. So you have business places who may need new point of sale machines. There are business places who, they may need to write checks, and with CIBC's closure, then the business places in particular, there is a deadline where they may not be able to pay checks, or they may not be able to write checks. And they have to be very mindful that they set up their accounts at the other institution so that they do not find themselves in a bind. Because imagine a business place not being able to pay, make a purchase, maybe even prepare salaries and so on. So they have to mobilize themselves, and that's where we came in as an institution in terms of looking at our departments, our various departments, and what we have done is mobilize staff, as in increase staff in certain areas so that we can take on the influx that we will get, and we have extended our hours as well. So from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. we are open to facilitate a
So you have 4
opening.
additional hours specifically for that purpose?
Correct. Yes, and that's daily. So we are not open on the weekend as yet. It's something that we are looking at. But for now, customers are able to open accounts all day. So from 8 a.m. and we go up till 6 p.m.
Go ahead.
All right. So it's just to call in, and we also have our website, www.republicbankdominica.com, where you go in and you can actually send us emails as well. It's called contacting us, right? So you send in your info, you ask your questions, you say exactly what you'd like, and we have a team that looks at these emails daily. They assign it to officers, because we actually have officers, and then we will call these customers, make appointments, have discussions over the phone, because we've recognized that not everybody can come in. So where we can have people send in information, we do that. Where we can have discussions over the phone, we do that. And it's just being flexible at this time, because we need to accommodate as many customers.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because someone is just asking me via WhatsApp. Someone is just saying that why didn't the bank give at least a whole year's notice ahead of this? Because I cannot come to the bank right now. I am not well. I am overseas, and I really can't make it. But we also have to understand that business has changed, and it's a while now. So no longer do you have to be physically present.
Right.
But explain that to us, Stephen Lander, in terms of what the person is saying and what entails.
It's a very short answer. A year's notice is not practical. These are decisions that are probably made well in advance, but there's a lot of how would I say, there are a lot of obligations around how these things are managed, which would prevent us from doing that. Just to give the person some real context, for example, I think most persons would know it's in the public domain that this exit of the market started with a potential sale to NBD. Just so persons understand, though, while that discussion is happening, each party is signed to a non-disclosure agreement. So you cannot disclose that information.
When you say while that discussion is happening,
so while you're negotiating the sale, for
all
example, right? And this market exit would have been underlain by similar obligations. So we can only speak about it after a certain point, okay? And when we're able to speak about it, we give at least the minimum regulatory notice, which, as I articulated earlier, is 90 days. But in our case, we gave an additional 2 months, I believe, because we started in September. We announced in September, at the beginning of September, and we're going to leave in January. But to the difficulty that the particular person is expressing, that they're not present, I think you covered that very well. We do have a process in place. As I said, we have a designated officer who's dealing with that group of clients. not being present does not preclude you from doing what you need to do. We have a process where we can verify your identity through notarization. You write to us, and notarize your instructions as to how you want to dispose of your funds. On the flip side of it, you may want to establish a new relationship locally, okay? And NBD, as Susan spoke about, has a number of avenues for you to do that. You can go through their online portal and set up a new account, or I understand that they have a very innovative process of verification via video call,
Yes.
right? And again, it's a very good example of how, you have to respond to the unique circumstances that are facing you. So I would just like to give the person some comfort that there are processes in place that will help them to transition their affairs. If you have specific questions, or if you feel like there are specific roadblocks that you are facing that might be peculiar to you and we don't have a solution for that in place yet, we need to have a conversation, right? So I would say the first step is getting in contact with us,
Correct.
just helping us understand what your particular circumstances are, and we will find a way to work around them.
All right, and you are listening to a simulcast with Kyrie FM. We're looking at Financial Information Month and discussing with representatives of 3 banks, the ECCB spearheading initiatives for Financial Information Month. Someone is asking as well via WhatsApp, when a bank closes, will the customer get all of his I'm taking that the person wants to say all of his or her money, so that is what the person was asking.
Well,
I know we looked at that earlier, and it's not just money, there are other things as well that people
But
have.
absolutely, I want that to be very clear, that your funds are safe and available to you. All we need is an instruction from you as to what you want to do with them. So if you're there in person and you say, cut me a check, or wire my funds to XYZ account that I have created, that is in the control of the customer. And that is why we are urging persons to get in contact with us. If you can come in, please do so. If you need to discuss with us, remotely, there's a process for that, and so on. But we need the instructions from the customers as to what to do. But everyone's money is safe. That I can say without fear of contradiction. And all of your funds will be returned to you. And we like in like manner to NBD, we've removed as much friction as we can. Okay, anything that is going to be impacted by fees and so on, or other charges in the normal course of business, we're trying our best to remove those barriers, those impediments that may make someone hesitant, to take the necessary action that they need to.
All right. Susan Piper, explain to us, do you find a lot of people taking advantage of this now? I know you have put in a lot of measures in place to make it easier for people, to provide that convenience for them. But are you satisfied with probably the rush, for want of a better word, by customers of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank? Do you find that they call a lot to get information, and are people signing up, Tell us what is happening.
Well, actually, yes, we are getting responses. We do have a number of FCIB clients who are calling in to us and even setting up appointments. We have quite a few of the overseas clients calling as well, and contacting our hotline or contacting us via email with their queries. Of course, as we've mentioned before, some people wait until the last minute. So I'm sure we do have a number of persons who have not taken a first step yet. And we are encouraging those clients who have not considered or have not taken a first step, at least contact the bank, contact us for consultation. So that based on the various accounts that you have with FCIB, to determine how we can best provide you with the various banking services that you would require. So at the minimum, call for a consultation, call us on the hotline, or just simply go to our website or email us. So we are getting some clients who are responding to us, and we are happy that we're getting contact from the overseas clients, because we know that it may be difficult on their end, but we're encouraging those that have not taken the step as yet to do so.
I want to find out from the Republic Bank as well, and I also want to ask you that same question. But to let you know as well that the invitation is open, that we can continue to discuss on radio. I mean, yes, there's social media, there's face-to-face contact, but radio is still very relevant. But I wanted to look at, in terms of the reviews that you are getting, is it a lot? Are you encouraged by this?
We are encouraged by it, and that's one of the reasons why we basically extended ourselves, because we basically recognize that we have to facilitate customers. We basically have to step out of our comfort zone, so to speak. It's not just, the norm where the bank closes at 2. I mean, we have an influx of customers, so how do we accommodate them? So that is why we basically took the decision to extend our hours up till 6 p.m. because, there are people who are working. For example, yourself, you're on radio all day. If at all you're not before, so let's say you were a CIBC customer, what time do you get to come to the bank to conduct your business? You may have to go to CIBC first, then visit us at Republic. So in order to facilitate customers that they are not inconvenienced with their own employers, then, we extended ourselves.
All right. So Stephen Lander, this goes back to the plan to Unplan you were talking about. So this is like a business continuity plan, if I could take it like this, because surely this is a significant disruption.
Yes.
But we established the fact earlier in the program that even things like that, you have to begin to make provisions for. I mean, you don't see your bank closing the next day, or, sending an announcement. But these are the things that we have to begin to put in place in case, this disruption would occur.
Yeah, correct. And I think it's a good opportunity to give particularly some of our commercial clients credit. Quite a few of them are multi-banked, right? They have accounts at multiple institutions, and for those who do, it's a much easier transition, because what they need to do is just kind of shift the account that they use primarily to operate their business. So yeah, but back to your point, customers ought to be flexible and responsive themselves, and so there are changes happening, and this particular change with the bank being closed, we have to be flexible and be able to pivot and move our business elsewhere. And I think we have very competent players in the market in the form of NBD Republic, and for those of us who prefer the credit union movements, pretty competent players in that space as well, right? We mentioned earlier that certain things will go away. I just want to highlight a few key dates while I have the opportunity to.
Sure.
So we are at the beginning of October, and as of October 15th, that will be the last day that we will be honoring checks that are drawn against an FCIB account.
October 15th.
Okay.
And that's soon,
so if you have a checking account and you're typically writing checks for payments. Okay, or if on the flip side, you're a business or an individual who typically receives FCIB checks for payment, the last date that we'll be honoring those items would be October 15th. Moving to the 31st will be the last day that we process checks through our bank that are drawn on the other financial institutions. So if if you receive, for example, a Republic check and deposit it in your First Caribbean account to clear, October 31st will be the last date that you can do that.
October 31, okay.
Right?
For that.
So these are some examples of what changes are happening in the interim between now and January 31st. We do have an off-site ABM, or automatic machine, at the Springfield supermarket. We will be taking that down on October 1st as well, 31st, sorry, as well. Okay? Now, this notice and the schedule of services went out in every letter that we were able to send to clients. It is also available on our social media page. If anyone wants to look us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can find that information there.
Surely this is not how I would put this, maybe a good position for any institution to be in. It's not easy, especially when you look at the challenges that we have. But I wanted to find out, though, from you, Stephen Lander, how challenging is this for the First Credit International Bank? Because you have to support employees as well throughout this time of transition.
Yeah.
So it's like a double whammy, could I call it this? Or what is that?
Yeah. So there are a few key constituents that are impacted. Staff certainly are among those. And I'll take the opportunity now to commend the team at CIBC First Caribbean Dominica for doing an excellent job in supporting our clients. I think part of it is that the news was probably surprising but not unanticipated. As I said, this decision was preceded by an announcement of a potential sale. So both from the standpoint of customers and staff, I think there was some inclination that something like this could have happened. So there was some mental preparation, I think. But once we made the announcement and the decision was final and we engaged staff as to what the process would look like, what it means for them, obviously everyone will have that question. And we settled those issues. The focus turns squarely to the clients and how we can help them, right? And I want to commend the staff, for being fully behind that and being fully in support for our clients as we go through the transition.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask a question. Well, let's just take this caller before, and we have to end very, very soon. But let me just take this caller. Good morning. Okay, we lost that person. I want to ask a question, though, Stephen Lander. It may seem maybe somewhat rhetorical or even idiotic in its simplicity, but I'm going to ask it all the same. I mean, could this disruption, and these disruptions have happened the world over, but from your expertise in banking, do you think that this disruption could cause people to somewhat lose faith in the banking sector? I'm not sure if this is the correct question, but I'm asking it.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word faith. And what I have seen in the conversations that I've had and the questions that have been posed to me, it has generated some concern, right? We are referred to as an international bank, for example, and persons often say, well, there's no more international banks in the market, right? Yep. And I ask, why is that a concern? I say, well, you can do a lot of things that these local institutions can do and can't do. And I say, well, what are those things particularly? And persons may talk about correspondent banking and wire transfers and so on. I say, no, these other institutions are perfectly capable of doing that. They're doing them right now, right? So part of it is perception that doesn't quite align to reality, okay? And I encourage persons to kind of do some research and figure out what competencies, what banking competencies exist in the market through the remaining institution. And I think persons may be quite comforted by what they find, right? So a lot of things sometimes is just about people not being totally informed. Back to financial information, that's the kind of value that activities like that drive. So I think there is some concern, and rightly so. There are other concerns about, what the competitive landscape is looking like now that a competitor is leaving and there's only two. And those are legitimate concerns. I counter that with, well, if the market is there and the opportunity is there, who is to say that a new competitor may not enter? Okay? Because it's a free market. There is a range of possibilities that, you can't really predict or define, right? But if you're willing to accept every possibility that exists, it can mitigate your concerns somewhat, right? So I would say yes, there's observations being made. People are thinking about the potential impact of our exit on the market. But every concern that you can come up with, I think there is a reasonable mitigating view that can be offered. And that's what I try to offer in my conversations with clients.
Well, I'm happy I asked that question. I love the explanation that you gave. I'm looking at the time. We have already run out of time. Maybe Kimara, it will give us just 5 minutes quickly. Let us take this call. Good morning. You are on.
Good morning, Arizona.
Yes. You are not clear, though. Your reception is kind of terrible. Let's see if it improves. Go ahead. No, you call me back quickly. Call me back quickly because, yes, the reception is not the best. We want to hear you as clearly as possible. We are winding down. In fact, we have just gone past the allotted time. So let us begin to get closing remarks. Let's hear from you, Republic Bank, the representative of the Republic Bank of Dominica branch, of course. Is Republic Bank EC, right?
Limited, yes.
EC Limited, okay. So let's get closing remarks. And as I said, the invitation is open for us to continue discussions like that.
Okay, so at Republic, we're here to serve our customers because we actually care about the customer's well-being. We appreciate each and every customer's business. Each and every customer is important to us. There's no better customer than the other. We appreciate every business that we get, and I would just like to take this opportunity to employ customers that when they come in with a request, be it for a mortgage, be it for an account, there are specific documents that we must adhere to, that customers must bring in to facilitate the process. So one of the setbacks we have is that we may give customers a list that they need to bring in, be it for a business loan, be it for an account, a switch mortgage. In terms of bringing in documents, we may get a challenge, and customers may find that maybe the process is taking time, but it's not that the process is taking time, it's just that we don't have all of the documents to basically get you to the finish line. So if at all you're having any difficulties in terms of getting the documents that's required of you to get you over the line, just feel free to reach back to us. We may assist. For example, the credit reports. I know customers have difficulties in terms of, completing the reports themselves. It's a tedious task to them. So we facilitate that process. Just letting customers know that they don't have to leave their work and walk all throughout town.
Right.
Okay, so you can come to Republic. You will feel at home. We appreciate your business, and we are here to serve you.
Okay, Susan Piper, quickly, wonderful news, Saturday extension, quite convenient. Closing remarks from you.
Yes, quickly. So we spoke about resilience briefly, Ivona, and really the local banks have had to respond very quickly to scenarios. We had Maria, we had COVID, and now we have the closure of FCIB, and we've done it successfully in the other two instances, and we are committed to doing it successfully in this instance. And as I said, we've put our best people forward. We have a strong team that is ready to support the transition of clients to NBD. And we've put all the systems and processes in place so that it is easy for clients to contact us, easy for clients to switch. And as mentioned before, if you're still unsure about what you would like to do, a consultation is the best way to approach it. Please, call us, visit us, come in for a consultation. We're talking about financial education. We are there to educate you, to give you information that will help you to make your decision. We approach every client as an individual client, not a one product fits all or one situation fits all. We approach each client as an individual client.
You have to look at each situation in its own merit.
Exactly. And so we will do the necessary assessments for you so that you can make the best decision for yourself.
Mm-hmm. As we end, closing remarks from you, Stephen Lander?
Yes, I just want to say to everyone that we're here to support. So call us, get in contact. No question is a dumb one. We're here. We'll provide you with all the support and information that you need to make this a seamless transition for you. And I want to thank my sister institutions, as I said earlier, for their flexibility and support for the market during this transition as well. It's been excellent. I want to commend them and encourage them to keep on doing the work that they're doing to help our clients.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Lander, of course, a young Dominican who has so much experience already in the banking business, and of course, he's the head of the CIBC First Caribbean International Bank, and look at what a young man has to deal with at this time. Yeah. But of course, the world is your oyster, Stephen Lander. So we wish you all the best. And you too, the invitation is open. We can keep that discussion going.
Appreciate it.
There's a lot that people want to know. And the calls are coming, but we really have to end now. But thanks a lot, all of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
So that's it. And we also say a big thank you to Kyrie FM as well, because we had the simulcast. And a big thank you to Shoma John at the ECCB for really ensuring that this goes well. And all the best as we continue to observe Financial Information Month.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay less? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 25% on your mobile bill every month.